we have one target, two targets, and us. It's gonna be interesting. We have a switch. Netcat is a computer networking utility for reading from and writing to network connections using TCP or UDP. Learn Netcat tool by doing the following activities. Use Netcat to listen on port TCP 4000. Okay, this is going to be interesting. So we've got the lab link. And then now, let's actually make this bigger. First, use Netcat to listen on TCP port 4000 of the local host. Open a new tab and use Netcat to connect to the listening instance. So we need to go to a new instance. The first one, so we need to listen on port TCP of the local host, nc-l. I usually use -v, and so -l is for listening, -v is for verbose, and -p is for port. In this case, we can simply do -l, -p, -v, and for the port, they want us to do port 4000. I can do this, or I can simply do it -l, vp, verbose, port 4000. It's the same freaking thing. If you're unsure, so nc-h, listen for inbound. We use -l, -p for port. So in this case, nc-lvp, we need verbose, like I said, -v, -l listen, and -p we need to specify the port 4000. Alright, so this is localhost. And then what we need to do is open up a new tab and use Netcat to connect to the listening instance. In this case, we are going to use Netcat to connect to a certain host and to a certain port. And in this case, we're going to be using Netcat localhost, and then the port. You can also say 127.0.0.1 and the port. You don't have to specify the port with -p. So in this case, do you? I don't think you do. You can also specify whatever IP your listener is listening on, and also the port. But in this case, we just do localhost 4000, and it should work. It's now connected. As we can see, connect from localhost, and then if we say ls-a, it just outputs the command or the text that we've sent. ls. So there's nothing here. I don't want to go into details because in this case we've just set up a listener without actually explicitly attaching a program to that listener. For example, we could attach bin bash to the listener, or we could attach the output of some other program running on localhost to the listener. So when we are connecting to the IP, you would be receiving the output or the interface to the program that you've attached your listener to. But in this case, they just say open up a new tab and use Netcat to connect to the listening instance. Use Netcat to listen on UDP port of the local host. So by default, you're connecting to TCP. And if we want to connect to UDP, we have to specify -u. So in this case, it's going to be -lv Netcat nc UDP connection. Yeah, so the -p was okay. It seems to be laggy. Attack Defense Labs seems to be a little bit laggy. Now in this case, if we connect, its connection refused. We probably need to specify U. Yeah, so I created with the UL P, and you're connecting with U minus P. So I've been connecting with U, and we don't have to specify the port, do we? Let's send D. Yeah, so we don't have to specify the port. We could simply do minus UP, no ports to connect to. If we do that again, minus UP, minus U minus P, still. So it's only minus U. You don't have to specify the minus P. So we did the first two. Use Netcat to listen on port 4000 and provide bash access to any session connecting to it. Open up a new tab. So this is what I was talking about. In this case, we attach a bash to our listener. So program to execute after connect. This is what we're looking for. And we want to attach a bash. Bash is in bin bash. If we do ls bin, we're going to see that we have not only bash, but we also have other types of shells like sh, rzsh, zsh. Anything else? Anyway, so what we want to do is to execute. So in this case, we create a listener with minus L, minus V, we need verbose mode, minus P on port 4000, minus E. What we need to execute, or what we need to attach to our listener, is bin bash or bin sh, for example, but in this case is bin bash. So we're listening on port 4000, and if we connect NC00, let's see if it works like this. This would be similar to localhost or to 127.0.0.1 on port 4000. We should be getting a bash over here, and if we execute, if we do a command now, in this case, if we do ls, we get the output because we have attached bash. So it's not just a one-to-one connection, text connection, or connection that enables text to be sent back and forth the ends of Netcat, but it's a bash shell. I could also use an sh, and then we have pretty much the same thing, sort of, like bash and sh are quite similar, though born again shell is a bit more complex, or it's a more advanced version of bash, of sh. Use Netcat of the localhost and log the communication exchange into a file. What would this look like? Well, -o is hex dump of traffic. It could be it. It doesn't say log, but it's a dump of the traffic. And they actually request us log the communication. So communication could be the traffic. Communication exchange could mean traffic. So number 4, let's actually look into the lab manual. And then task 4. It was the -o. So you were right, and we actually did this. Like here, no. log.log minus L minus P okay, so I didn't have to actually specify the bin sh. Maybe. So in this case, if I connect and then say hello, we can see the hello. If you try to write something from here, we don't get anything on the other end, or we do. So it's a two-way communication. And then if we quit and then ls minus a, we do have the log.log with the communication in the hex dump, so in the hex format. So yeah, that was the answer. Sometimes I actually overcomplicate things. If you want to gain an edge over other cybersecurity professionals, take my Python for Pentesters course and learn how to leverage the power of Python in penetration testing and cybersecurity. Link in the description. Alright. So number 4, use Netcat. Number 5, use Netcat to listen on port 4000, open up a new tab to connect to the listening instance, transfer a dummy file from a connecting instance to the listening instance. Tricky but really interesting. So listen on port 4000, transfer a dummy file from connecting instance to listening instance. So this is gonna be the listening instance, and this is gonna be the connecting instance. So what we need to do is to transfer a file from this instance to the listening instance. Okay, so how do we do this? We have netcat listening for whatever is being sent to us on port 4000. In this case, we want to redirect everything that is being sent to a file received.txt. And in this case, what we want to send, let's see, what do we have here? We have log.log. We connect, so I could try taking what's in the log.log and send it to the listening into the received.txt. Let's see if this works. So it's got connected. Once we close this connection with Control C, we should have a received.txt with the contents of log.log, if I am correct. Let's see. Cat received, and that's right. So that was it. Number 6. Use Netcat as a port scanner to scan the first 1000 ports of the other 2 machines present on the network and discover their open ports. So this is how I started. I wanted to identify which were the 2 other machines present on the network, and for that I simply did a net discover. And with the net discover, I specified the interface that I want to discover hosts on, and the interface is ETH1. This is the interface, and then I also specify the range 16. I could just have done 137/32, I guess. Clear, not 32, 8. No, 1624. 24, yeah. So that would have been faster, because I'm only scanning this portion. Net discover interface range. If I just do net discover, it's gonna look into all the ranges and all the interfaces. I think so. So first I discovered the two other machines, which is 3 and 4, and then what we need to do is we need to scan the first 1000 ports of each of them. So how do you scan with Netcat? Good question. So how to scan with Netcat? Minus V minus Z. V is for verbosity, and Z is for not making a full connection. Okay, so it just can we specify the host? We can specify the host and the port range. So this is quite simple and straightforward. Let's clear this. So once again, we want to use Netcat as a port scanner to scan the first 1000 ports of, let's say, the first one. The first machine is 1373. Copy. NC minus Z, so that we do not make a full connection. We paste the host, and then we specify minus P range 1000 or 1000, 1000, 1001, 1000. No ports to connect to. What if we don't specify and we just do that? We need to have the verbosity as well, minus Z minus V, and it already completed the scan. What if we do localhost? Nothing is open. Do we have Nmap installed to double check that? Let's see Nmap. We do have. So if we do an Nmap localhost, there's nothing. If we do Nmap on this one to double check, Nmap minus, let's just have the minus V. It verifies that we have 23 open. So that was the command. The command was NC minus Z for not making a full connection, minus V for verbosity. If we don't specify minus V, there's no output. If we do minus VV, it's the entire output. If we do, what if we do minus VVV? It's probably the same thing. Let's see. We only want one V. So we have 23 telnet open, and then we have to do the same thing for the other target, which has 80 open. Okay, so that was our answer. Use Netcat as a port scanner. That's what we did. Connect to telnet service running on a remote machine with Netcat using the following credentials. The simple answer in this case would be, I believe, so we have the host 3 running the 23 telnet service, and then we need the verbosity, telnet open. Do we have any help here? ls exit, quit, close, quit. Interesting. With credentials. Connect to telnet with credentials. Netcat. So that was it. We need to specify the -t for the answer telnet negotiation. And in this case, we have the username, administrator, and password 1Q2W3E4R. So administrator 1Q2W3E4R, and then we are connected. That was interesting. Okay. Connect to a web server using Netcat and fetch the index page. So we remember that this one, if we look back into the, let's see, is this, what's this? It's a Linux. Interesting. Anyways, let's exit. Clear. We know that the other target, the 134, had HTTP open. In this case, we want to grab the banner. We could just NC on port 80 -V. Connect to a web server using Netcat and fetch the index page. So let's see. NC -V get this. That was probably the easier way. You don't specify anything, you just get. Let's see what their solution is. Get / HTTP 11. It's just get, and that's it.